school system, etc.
Exactly. Yeah, we all have influences from the outside which affect um, our behavior and our beliefs and how we interact with the world, all of those things, right?
Yeah, and it
So,
often takes us away from
mhm.
being ourselves.
So how do we get in touch with our true self? Is that something that happens automatically? Is it an exploration? Does it, like what kind of things happen in order for us to be that authentic or true self?
Well, I think for many of us, it might, the search for our true self probably arises from a sense that we get at some point that we're not being authentic, that somehow we're violating an aspect of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think, why do I feel like I'm going against who I really am? What is that? Who am I really then? If I'm feeling inauthentic, dishonest,
Mm-hmm.
um, if I feel like somehow I'm violating some inner principle, if I've got that feeling, what
Mm-hmm.
does that mean? And
Right.
I
Or
think,
go ahead. Sorry.
no, please.
I was just going to say, I think it takes something of, like our mentor says, that drama and trauma for you to start questioning that. Like something triggers it within us to actually start diving in and questioning. Like, I think lots of people go, "What's wrong with me?" Right? And then they start going on the journey and they find out there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that they're using whatever God-given talents that they have in the wrong place and in the
Yeah.
wrong containers and things like that.
Or
And
the wrong environments.
exactly. So how do we consciously choose the right places for and the right people for us to interact with, right?
Um, that's a really good question. Um, because often we wake up to a feeling of being lost.
Mhm.
And in that initial perception of our being lost or having somehow drifted apart or away from our authentic selves, our first question is, what the heck?
Mhm. Yeah,
And we don't know where to start.
right.
And so, if we're just waking up to that, where do we start? Well, I think some people start the intention to figure it out is the beginning point. And I think the universe responds to that. It's like the hermit and the tarot card. It might draw our attention to a particular teacher or a particular book or a particular movie. And we start to get inspired and we start to take baby steps along that route.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and if we continue searching, there's things that can help us.
Mhm.
I mean, returning to the Bible can be helpful. For instance, returning to a spiritual tradition, you know, Christianity or maybe another one. Some of those can help.
Mhm.
Um,
I think it's whatever you're energetically aligned with, right? Like for some people, it's the Eastern traditions and, such as Buddha and whatever that is. And for some people, it's the Egyptian lineages. And I think it all boils down to how you were designed will tweak that within you. It will feel like, oh, this feels good or this feels right for me.
yeah,
And yeah, and I think that there are systems and things out there that can help you discern like more about yourself. So, you know, um,
yes,
practices and, be it books courses or whatever that is. But we all go on that seeker's journey to find what's in alignment for us, what feels right, what feels good, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think once that intention emerges in you, then you're going to find your route to it,
Right.
because that's how that's how God's universe works. If you have the intention to align with the divine plan, with your design,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to find that route. And as long as you continue following the breadcrumbs, it's going to take you on a journey that's going to yield results for you. I
Right.
mean, one of the things I first found was astrology, of course, when I was
Mm-hmm.
about 14. And that was one of the things that began my journey of saying, oh, this is what astrology says about me. But I still had to check that out against my own, oh, does this resonate?
Mm-hmm.
So there is no way. I really believe that all authentic paths lead us back into um, we have to honor our own perceptual system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you and I have talked about this a lot because we
Mm-hmm.
talk about human design a lot. And
Right.
it's like you are designed a lot differently than I am. And you've got had, you know, we're, you know, we're a few decades along in our experience, and your experience has been quite
Mm-hmm.
different from mine, and your design is quite different. So we look at many things differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and that's wonderful. That's
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. The uniqueness of each individual, that's something that really um, my study of astrology and being a professional astrologer and human design analyst, it is what's constantly reinforced is a respect for the uniqueness that's inherent in every single individual.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think that's what it takes to live our true selves? Is to have that, you know, desire to actually want to dive into finding out who that is?
Yes, I think the desire needs to be there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's so many routes to actually discovering that.
Mm-hmm.
You might discover an aspect of your authentic self by taking a ballroom dancing class and waking up to your joy of movement, and then
Mm-hmm.
having your awareness of your body somehow inform and help you develop or nurture that sense of your authentic self. Um, you can do it like I have done it through a lot of study. You might discover it maybe uh, through a failed relationship becomes your catalyst. There's
I
so
think
many
it
ways.
I think it comes down to when you were talking about ballroom dancing, the word presence comes to me because you can do any activity, whether it's studying or ballroom dancing or you know meditating, whatever it is, but they all require you to be present in that moment.
Mm,
So, and being connected to something, right? Because if you just go through the motions of it, you're not really connecting
I
to,
like your use of that
yeah,
word connection. It implies somehow being plugged in.
yeah, well, to our higher selves, to God, to source, to whatever people want to call it. But as we go through our lives, if we're not actually connecting with whatever we're doing, how and being present to it, how can we then explore ourselves? Like we're not paying
Hmm.
attention, right?
And I mean,
So,
connection brings up for me words like joy. Like if we connect to an energy, then you start to feel joy, then you start to feel love, and you start to
mhm,
get a feedback from the universe of. I often like to describe it as, that game when you play when you're a kid and you've hidden something, and you kind of say, "Oh, warm, warmer, warm. Oh, oh, cold, cool, 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 cool."
mhm,
And then you play that. To me, tuning into and It's a little bit like that. It's like, oh, I this is getting closer. I'm feeling it more.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
you feel
there
drawn
can
to it.
be,
So
yeah.
you mentioned, yeah, you mentioned love. So what role does fear and love play in living authentically? Because we all have those emotions and we all go through those. So what, like, how do you see that working?
Well, I think fear creates a sense of separation. So you were just talking about connection, which I think is a
Mhm.
really key thing. Connection to God, connection to yourself, connection to an energetic experience. And fear cuts us off. Fear separates us
Mhm.
from each other. It separates us from that sense of connection to God. I think it interferes with that.
Mhm.
But love is the opposite. Love brings things together. Love joins things. Love connects
Mhm.
things. That's how I see it.
So I think in order for us to live honestly, one of the things, or authentically, is to like truly be honest with what we're experiencing, what we're letting in, what we're not. So, because if you're allowing things that aren't in alignment with you, are you really living authentically? Right.
Um, to me, honesty is it's quite a nuanced subject.
But I meant honest with yourself, like your true self, right? You have to know thyself, right, in order to
Yes,
be able to navigate the world. That's what I'm speaking of. So if you, because we're talking about living authentic and true to your design. So,
yes,
I mean, that's part of it, to honestly know yourself and honestly take a look at yourself, right?
for sure. Which
Yeah.
leads us back to the idea of an examined life.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a while to know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Shrek and his layers of onions.
Mm-hmm.
It's there are layers to it. For instance, me seeking to be honest and authentic as a 20-year-old is different from me doing it now as a 60-something-year-old.
Well, you have
Um,
wisdom.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
there there are layers. I mean, that I don't want to make it overcomplicated for myself and for our listeners,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like a Russian doll.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're right. Knowing yourself is key.
Mm-hmm. So
Um,
yeah, which brings me to like actually one of the things that you're passionate about, human design, and the fact that you've actually created something to help people discover their true authentic self. Maybe you want to talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Well,
Hmm.
as all our listeners here know, human design is about the celebration of differentiation, the celebration of the uniqueness of the human. And there's a great deal that human design has to say to us about how to be aligned. That's all of what it's about. Um, because you're unique, given that each person is unique, they have ways that you can, there are things built into the way you're designed, according to human design, that in a sense help you get closer and closer to that alignment. And so I created a course, which it's now complete. And the course was called Claiming the Gift of Your True Self. And it's primarily a human design class where we go through everything that you need to know in order to, from a human design perspective, we go through the key things for how can you discover
Hmm.
and tune into your true self.
Yeah,
How can you claim that for yourself?
I thought that was interesting that you used that word claiming. Why did you choose that word?
Well, claiming is I have a relationship with the word claiming. Um, often people often people have a sense of what their gifts are, They have a sense of what is beautiful and good and true and powerful about themselves, and yet they don't fully claim it. They don't fully step into it. And that has been part of something that I've struggled with, as you know. How do
Hmm.
you claim your true gifts? You kind of know it on an intellectual level, but then you have to step into it. And
Hmm.
so it's a powerful word for me, and I think it's a powerful word or concept for a lot of people. You
Right.
have to, in a sense, give yourself permission to be your true self.
Hmm.
You have to claim it.
Exactly.
Um, there's more than one part to it. There's part of it is knowing what that is, and part of it is claiming. And of course,
Hmm.
my prayer for myself and for the people that I serve is that they claim their true selves.
Yes.
And
And
so, in that, yeah,
that's
in the
why the name. Okay.
yes,
Yes.
that's why the name, claiming the gift of your true self. The
Right.
gift part is, well, God gave you the gift of life. He created you. That's the gift. You're the gift to the world, and God you God presented you to the world as a gift.
Hmm. So,
So,
if anybody wants to explore this with you, um, the course is online. You did offer it live, but now it's just online. So they can contact us here at Clair-i-tea or go to the website and click the link. Um, there's something else that's brewing in your mind, and we've been talking a little bit about it. But if anybody's interested in having like a group um, that Hartwell would lead into human design and discussing things like a monthly type meeting thing. You tell me what that would look like. But they can get in touch with us here too about that.
yeah, well, I'm still sort of waiting for the inspirational spark um, that will help me clarify what that could be about. And I'm also, part of, I'm a projector. For those of you who are following me on this human design journey, we have different designs. And, I'm here to be of service to people. So, what is it that you would like to see? That is part of what would inform it. Part of it is, okay, well, I might have any idea that sparks and kind of
Mm-hmm.
fleshes out that direction. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, stay tuned. If you
Mm-hmm.
have ideas on your end, reach out to us.
Yep. You can
Um,
email us at clarity7@gmail.com or text us, whatever, 587-596-3333. And one of us will get back to you.
and a part of that too, to kind of call you out, Chris, as the
Hmm.
creator of Clarity, is that one of the things we're all about is Christian community and people coming together who have who are who are sensitive and open and often mystical experiencers. And this is all part of, and the Gene Keys work and the human design work is part of our creation of community too. And that I know is one of we share that passion, you and I.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Well, there's many things going on and starting at Clarity, so everybody can just stay tuned. Check out our event page. Looking at maybe creating memberships and things for attending several different types of events or having different things come to fruition here. So just stay tuned for that because it's in the process. So, do you have anything else to say to wrap up today?
Well, happy solstice, happy holidays, Merry
Mm.
Christmas to all of you.
Yes. And wishing you the best in the new year that you can become your authentic and true selves on your journeys. We'll say, oh,
Yeah.
God bless.
Chris,
Oh,
are we meeting on Boxing Day?
no, we are not meeting on
We're
Boxing
not
Day. It
meeting
is a
on Boxing
holiday.
Day. Our loyal followers, we will skip Boxing Day because
Hmm.
you'll all be wanting to spend time with family.
They'll all be on the couch watching TV with their turkey bellies. All right. Have a wonderful day, guys. Merry Christmas.